If your scuba mask shifts every time you clear it, feels like it's dragging your face down, or cracked after one season of diving, there's a good chance you're using the wrong design for the way you actually dive. I'm Ray Hollister, and I've spent over 4 decades in commercial and recreational dive operations, mostly in Florida waters, watching divers make expensive mistakes with their masks. You're listening to the Scuba Gear Lab podcast. Quick heads up before we go any further. The research, the testing, the script, all of that comes from real dive professionals with decades of underwater experience. The voice you're hearing right now is AI generated, but the content behind it is completely human verified. I just want to be upfront about that. If you've been listening for a while, thank you. It's genuinely good to have you back. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome aboard. New episodes drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so you've got a solid archive to dig through if this one lands well. Now, here's what we've got for you today. Frameless masks win for travel, weight, and field of view, but framed masks are tougher and easier to service. Here's how to pick the right design for your diving style. After 4 decades of watching divers struggle with ill-fitting masks and dealing with the consequences of poor mask choices on everything from wreck penetrations to open-water training dives, I've developed some strong opinions about this debate. This comparison breaks down the real-world differences in durability, weight, field of view, maintenance requirements, and longevity so you can make an informed choice. Let me start with a quick overview of how these designs stack up. Frameless masks typically weigh between 140 and 180 grams dry and sit nearly neutral in the water, while framed masks run 200 to 280 grams and tend to be slightly negative. For field of view, frameless gives you about 15 to 20% wider peripheral vision, though framed masks deliver excellent forward visibility with a bit less on the sides. Durability is where things get interesting. Frameless masks tend to develop skirt tears at stress points after 3 to 5 years of heavy use, while framed designs protect that lens-to-skirt junction and can last 8 to 12 years. Maintenance is simpler on framed masks because you can replace the lens, strap, and skirt components independently. Frameless masks are single-piece construction, so when something fails, you're replacing the whole thing. Best use cases? Frameless is ideal for travel diving, wide-angle photography, and low-volume clearing. Framed masks are the better choice for cold water, wreck diving, rental fleets, and situations where rough handling is likely. Now let's talk about field of view and visual performance. The biggest selling point of frameless designs is the unobstructed peripheral vision you get when the silicone skirt bonds directly to the tempered glass lens. I've been diving the Scuba Pro frameless mask since the late 1990s, and the difference is immediately noticeable when you're scanning for marine life or navigating tight penetrations. Check the show notes for a link to the current price. Without a plastic or stainless steel frame interrupting your sight lines, you pick up movement at the edges of your vision about 15 to 20% sooner than with traditional framed masks. Here's the thing though, that advantage matters most in specific scenarios. If you're shooting wide-angle underwater photography or doing search and recovery work where you need constant situational awareness, frameless is the way to go. The lack of visual obstruction translates to better composition and fewer missed subjects. I tell underwater photography students that a frameless mask is as important as proper buoyancy control when you're trying to frame a reef scene. Framed masks, on the other hand, excel at forward visual clarity. The rigid frame holds the lens at a precise angle relative to your eyes, which means less distortion at the edges of the viewing window. I've seen this make a real difference when divers are reading dive computer displays or trying to spot small critters in crevices. The sharper central focus zone helps when you need detail, not breadth. The downside of framed designs is that the frame itself creates blind spots. It's subtle, but if you're used to frameless and switch to a framed mask, you'll notice it immediately. That said, for most recreational reef diving and boat dives, it's not a deal breaker. You adapt within a few dives. One technical consideration. Frameless masks typically have lower internal volume, around 80 to 120 milliliters, versus 120 to 180 milliliters for framed masks, which means less air required to equalize and clear. When you're doing repetitive descents, think multi-dive liveaboard days, that reduced air consumption adds up. It's not a huge factor, but it's real. Moving on to durability and field longevity. This is where I get blunt. Frameless masks wear out faster under heavy use. The silicone skirt does all the structural work in a frameless design, and after a few years of regular diving, you'll start seeing stress tears at the lens to skirt bond points. I've replaced more frameless masks in rental fleets than I can count, usually after 200 to 300 dives when the skirt starts delaminating from the glass. For a recreational diver logging 30 to 50 dives a year, that's still 4 to 6 years of service, but it's nowhere near the lifespan of a well-built framed mask. Framed masks, by contrast, use a rigid plastic or stainless steel frame to hold the lens and distribute stress. Check the show notes for a link to the current price on the Atomic Aquatics Venom frameless mask and similar high-end frameless designs that use thicker silicone to compensate. But physics is physics. Metal and rigid polymer simply outlast silicone under repeated flexing and compression. I've got framed masks in my personal kit that are pushing 12 years old, with nothing more than strap replacements and occasional skirt lubrication. The other durability factor is impact resistance. Drop a frameless mask face down on a dive boat deck, and you're gambling on whether the lens to skirt bond survives. The frame on a traditional mask absorbs that impact and protects the critical seal. I've watched framed masks bounce off concrete boat ramps without damage. Try that with a frameless design, and you're buying a new mask. For divers who travel frequently or dive in demanding environments like wreck penetrations, cold water with dry suit hoods, night dives with limited visibility, the extra durability of framed masks matters. You're less likely to end a dive trip early because your mask failed, and in remote liveaboard situations, that redundancy is worth the extra weight. Let's get into weight and travel considerations. Frameless masks typically weigh 140 to 180 grams dry weight, compared to 200 to 280 grams for framed designs. That 60 to 100 gram difference doesn't sound like much until you're packing for a liveaboard and trying to stay under airline baggage limits with a full gear kit. I've had divers shave every possible ounce by switching to lightweight BCDs, travel regulators, and frameless masks just to avoid overweight fees. The real advantage shows up underwater. Frameless masks are nearly neutral or slightly positive in saltwater, which means they don't pull on your face or affect trim. Framed masks, especially those with stainless components, run slightly negative, not enough to ruin your dive, but you'll feel the difference after an hour at depth. For photographers trying to maintain precise buoyancy control, that neutral buoyancy is a legitimate performance benefit. Here's where the travel weight advantage gets complicated. Frameless masks are more fragile, so you end up packing them with extra protection. Hard case, bubble wrap, sandwiched between soft gear. By the time you account for protective packaging, you've eaten into some of that weight savings. Framed masks can take more abuse in a mesh dive bag or thrown loose in a larger scuba gear bag. I tell traveling divers to evaluate their actual packing style. If you're meticulous about gear organization and use hard cases for everything, frameless saves weight. If you're the type who jams everything into a roller bag and hopes for the best, the durability of a framed mask will save you money in the long run. Now let's talk maintenance and serviceability. Frameless masks are single-piece construction bonded together during manufacturing. When something fails, a tear in the skirt, delamination at the lens bond, or silicone degradation, you're replacing the entire mask. There's no way to swap out just the skirt or just the lens. I've tried aftermarket repairs, silicone adhesives, even professional dive shop fixes, and none of them hold up beyond a few dives. Framed masks, by contrast, are designed with replaceable components. Most quality framed masks let you swap the strap, replace the buckles, and in some cases even replace the skirt or lens independently. That modularity extends service life and gives you repair options when you're on a multi-week dive trip and something breaks. I keep spare straps and buckles for framed masks in my kit because I know I can field repair them. Can't do that with frameless designs. The mask skirt material degrades over time regardless of design, but with framed masks, you can replace just the skirt for a fraction of the cost of a new mask. Frameless masks force you to buy the whole unit again. Over a decade of diving, that cost difference adds up. One maintenance advantage of frameless designs: fewer crevices and joints where salt, sand, and organic buildup accumulate. Post-dive cleaning is simpler. Rinse, inspect, dry. Framed masks have more nooks where debris gets trapped, especially around buckle attachment points and frame-to-skirt interfaces. You need to be more thorough with your mask maintenance checklist to prevent corrosion and seal degradation. Let me address comfort and fit characteristics. The frameless design creates a softer, more conforming seal against your face because the silicone skirt flexes without restraint from a rigid frame. For divers with narrow faces, high cheekbones, or facial features that don't match standard mask geometries, this flexibility often translates to better fit and fewer leaks. I've fitted hundreds of divers with masks over the years, and frameless designs tend to accommodate a wider range of face shapes right out of the box. That said, frameless masks can feel floppy to some divers, especially if you're used to the structural rigidity of a framed design. The lack of a frame means the mask shifts more during clearing or when you adjust the strap. It's not a flaw, just a different feel. Some people love it, others find it disconcerting. Framed masks provide more structural support, which helps maintain seal integrity when you're wearing thick wetsuit hoods or dry suits with integrated hoods. The frame prevents the mask from collapsing inward under external pressure from the hood material. In cold water diving off the Atlantic coast, I see far fewer mask leaks with framed designs when divers are fully suited up. One specific comfort complaint I hear about framed masks: the frame edge can dig into the bridge of the nose or upper cheekbones during long dives, especially if the mask is fitted too tightly. That's usually a fit and adjustment issue, but the rigid frame gives you less margin for error compared to the all-silicone interface of a frameless mask. So, who should choose frameless masks? You'll get the most value from a frameless mask if you're a traveling diver who prioritizes weight savings and pack space, an underwater photographer who needs maximum peripheral vision for composition, or a warm water recreational diver logging 30 to 60 dives per year in protected environments. The neutral buoyancy and low internal volume make frameless masks ideal for freedivers and technical divers who want minimal gas consumption during clearing. If you treat your gear carefully, rinse thoroughly after dives, and store equipment properly between trips, a quality frameless mask will give you 4 to 6 years of reliable service. Just budget for eventual replacement and accept that repairs aren't an option when the silicone fails. And who should choose framed masks? Choose a framed mask if you're a cold water diver, wreck or cave diver, dive professional running rental operations, or anyone who prioritizes maximum durability over weight savings. The longer service life, 8 to 12 years with proper maintenance and field serviceability, make framed masks the better long-term investment for divers who log 100-plus dives per year or subject their gear to rough handling. Framed designs also make sense if you dive in high particulate environments, murky rivers, silty wrecks, or areas with heavy algae blooms, where you need the structural support to maintain seal integrity when clearing repeatedly. The replaceable components mean you're not throwing away the entire mask when one part wears out. Let me answer some frequently asked questions. Do frameless masks leak more than framed masks? No, frameless masks don't inherently leak more. In fact, the flexible silicone skirt often conforms better to irregular face shapes and creates a more reliable seal. Leaks in both frameless and framed masks are almost always caused by poor fit, strap tension that's too tight which breaks the seal, or facial hair interfering with the skirt. The key difference is that frameless masks shift more during adjustments or clearing because there's no rigid frame holding everything in place, which some divers interpret as leaking when it's really just mask movement requiring repositioning. Can you replace the strap on a frameless mask? Yes, most frameless masks use standard silicone or rubber straps with attachment loops that you can replace. However, you can't replace the skirt or lens independently because those components are bonded together during manufacturing. If the main body of the mask fails, skirt tears, lens delamination, or silicone degradation, you're replacing the entire mask regardless of the strap condition. Framed masks give you more replacement options, but both designs allow basic strap swaps. Are frameless masks better for prescription lenses? Frameless masks work fine with prescription lens inserts, but framed masks are often easier to fit with custom optics because the rigid frame provides mounting points and consistent spacing for lens installation. Many manufacturers offer prescription lens options for both designs, but if you're getting custom ground lenses installed by a third party, framed masks give technicians more mounting options. The choice comes down to personal preference. I've used both, and the optical performance is comparable as long as the lenses are properly centered and secured. Here's the bottom line.
The frameless versus framed scuba masks decision comes down to how you dive and what you value in your gear. Frameless masks deliver weight savings, wider peripheral vision, and excellent conformity to different face shapes. They're the smart choice for traveling divers, photographers, and anyone who wants minimal internal volume. Framed masks trade a few ounces of extra weight for superior durability, longer service life, and field serviceability that matters when you're far from a dive shop. I keep both designs in my personal kit because they excel in different scenarios. For Caribbean liveaboards and reef photography, I grab my frameless mask without thinking. For wreck penetrations in the Atlantic, cold water dives, or any situation where I need bomb-proof reliability, the framed mask wins every time. Neither design is objectively better. They're optimized for different use cases, and pretending otherwise is marketing nonsense. Pick based on your actual diving conditions, travel constraints, and how much you're willing to invest in long-term gear maintenance. And whatever you choose, learn to properly fit and maintain it. That matters more than frame design.
That's it for this episode of the Scuba Gear Lab podcast. Thanks for listening. New episodes come out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so you've always got something fresh waiting. If this was helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you'd leave a 5-star rating and write a quick review. It sounds small, but it actually makes a huge difference in helping other divers find the show. And go ahead and hit subscribe or follow so you get notified the second the new episode goes live. I'll see you on the next one.